I went on a golfing trip. I said, I'll drive. Lawrence goes, no, I'm driving. I go, oh my God, I don't want to let him drive.
First, take a breathalyzer.
So I look at Jim Burt, who was our nose tackle. I said, I'm in the back. He goes, no, you're not. You're in the front. We're flying down the turnpike. I'm sitting there, oh my God, slow down. A policeman pulls up beside us and goes on his micro, slow down, rah. And, I think he recognized Lawrence. And Lawrence goes, oh, got it. The cop takes off. Lawrence floors again. It's Lawrence. Oh, he won't come back. He was dipping. And so he threw his dip out the window. He goes like this. And he throws it, and we hear ding, ding, ding. His ring came off and lost it out in the road.
He lost his Super Bowl ring?
Games with Names is presented by WynnBET. Betting is a team sport, of course, so join the WynnBET team and bet with the best.
January 25th, 1987, the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California.
Elway, Sims, Parcells, Belichick, LT.
A tale of two halves and a quarterbacking performance of the ages.
Are we going to Disney World?
This is Super Bowl 21.
Hello and welcome to Games with Names presented by WynnBET. I'm Julian Edelman.
I'm Sam Morril, and we're on a search to find the greatest games of all time.
And on today's episode, we're talking Super Bowl 21, the New York Jets versus the Denver Broncos.
The Giants.
Oh, this is the Giants? Are you sure?
I mean, I know some people wish it was the Jets.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's the Giants. It's the Giants. We'll be joined by legend Phil Simms in studio perform. That's why I'm wearing this.
I think you might be converting, man. 5-1, Giants rolling.
Well, we're going to check on what was going on in 1987.
Yeah.
January.
Break down this classic Super Bowl and then wrap it up by naming and scoring the game. Make sure to follow Games with Names on social, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. And comment on a game you want to see.
Rate, review, and communicate.
Yeah.
You know what the key to success is?
Communication?
Communication. That's what happens when, we're succeeding. We're on the same chemistry, same page. That's what it is. Why are we doing this game?
I mean, first Giant Super Bowl. That's pretty big.
A lot of championships, but this was the big first Super Bowl.
So many fun personalities here, though. We teased it, but LT, one of the most fun ever. Sims, who is your coworker.
Mr. Sims.
Love Mr. Sims.
Love Mr. Sims. He had one of the best quarterbacking performances in Super Bowl history. I believe he only had like 3 incompletions. What was the stat line?
22 for 28, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 straight scoring drives in the second
I thought it was 22 or 25.
Let me double
I think that was
check
just in the second half.
Really?
I think that was just in the second half. We'll get that cleaned up.
Okay.
But Phil Simms sets the Super Bowl record for 88% completion rate. It was the first Super Bowl win, like we already stated, for the New York Football Giants.
But we have Elway on the other side of this. Young John Elway.
Young gun, Stanford kid, Elway.
Yeah, pretty boy.
Wasn't he one of the first to not sign with the team? Was it the Colts? It was the Baltimore Colts at the time. He said, no way, I'm going to go play for the Yankees. Instead, they trade him to the Denver Broncos, becomes a Bronco legend. And this is before he got the Super Bowls and he was humbled by Mr. Simms and the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, he won at the end.
Won at the end.
Yeah.
But he got humbled a couple times in the Super Bowl. He got blown out by the Niners.
Yeah.
He got blown out here. It wasn't until they went to that running game with Terrell Davis.
Yeah. Migraines. Remember that?
Well, he always had migraines.
He always had migraines.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Sam, you were right. 22 of 25. My math was off.
Hell yeah.
22 of 25.
Don't you ever disrespect Mr. Let me take that again. Don't you ever disrespect Mr. Simms. 22 of 25.
Like Mr. Burns.
Oh, yeah. They call me Mr. Tibbs. Remember that? From In the Heat of the Night? Sidney Poitier?
I like Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb is good.
It was
Better than Dr. Pepper?
just has like 30 times more caffeine.
Really?
Yeah, I think that was their selling point. It had way more caffeine. Remember Jolt?
I was just going to say, that's insane that you just said that.
Dude.
They had Jolt gum.
Yeah.
You had to be a real piece of shit kid to be chewing Jolt on your skateboard, just chewing.
The 90s.
Surge was the other one.
Surge was a little much. I didn't like it. Was like Mountain Dewy, right?
Yeah, and the commercial was like, Surge! Like it was like an avalanche of kids just like running, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but I can only imagine. I think they had like 300 milligrams of caffeine, and you have a 12-year-old drinking it.
That was a demo. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, Four Loko is like the alcoholic version, but this was like pre-Four Loko Jolt Cola. It was fucking bad for you.
This was pre people knowing soda was terrible for you.
I think they knew.
Did they?
My parents wouldn't let me drink it.
Nah, just because they want to deal with the sugar high, but they didn't know it was terrible for you. They didn't know if you put like a nail in a cup of Coke and it dissolves in like a day.
Does that really happen? A nail
Let me
dissolve?
check on that.
Or something.
Mr. Pibb, 40 grams of caffeine though.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
And the flavor is technically spicy cherry.
Damn.
There was always the like the rumor or like the urban myth that, what was it? Dr. Pepper was like apricot or no, prune soda.
Yeah.
You ever hear that?
I've heard it's like 31 flavors.
Or something like, I thought it was like the prune. It was like carbonated prune juice.
Yeah.
don't
Is
know.
it prune juice?
No.
What is it, Jack?
Let me check on that real quick.
Prune juice.
But let's go back to
Yeah.
January 27th, 1987. On this day, the number one movie in America was Critical Condition. You ever see that?
I don't even know what
I don't either.
What is it?
I don't. Let's move on. Move on. The number one song in America at this point, or at this moment, by Billy Vera and the Beaters.
The Beaters. Was Chris Brown in that group? What the? I guess he would have been too young. What? Who? I don't know that song. Can we get a sample?
This was. Will legal allow it? Can we play a sample?
All right, forget it. Sorry.
No legal, but
Aretha Franklin inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. First female inductee. That's crazy. I mean, that's
she could sing.
legend. I was at a roast once years ago, and it was the Matt Lauer roast. I was in the crowd, and she sang the national anthem, and Jeff Ross comes out, and his first line is, "Wow, Aretha, that was amazing." Usually it's not over till the fat lady sings.
Oh,
That was the opening line, and it just cut to her giving him the finger, and I was like, well, I guess this is a roast.
dude, that's gnarly.
Yeah.
Comedy,
Yeah.
straight for jugulars.
Full House premieres.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm looking for a house in the market in Los Angeles. Shed a single tear because I looked at Bob Saget's house.
Oh, man. It was a cool house, I bet.
Cool house. Cool house. But, just didn't cross the line with Mr. Tanner and his decor.
He was a classy dude. I knew him a little bit, and he was a really, really
I've heard nothing but insane things
Really
about him
cool
from
guy.
everyone. He's, left a great impact.
Dude, he knew everyone. He was like friends with Rodney Dangerfield. I mean, he's been around forever. I'll tell you, you're all right.
Yeah.
I love this. My mother never breastfed me. She told me she liked me as a friend. All right? Classic.
I don't
Love
know.
Rodney.
That's good.
I could do Rodney. I'm Back to School is like my favorite comedy.
Is it?
Oh my God, it's like bulletproof. So many good laughs in that movie. The scene with the wife's, so many back and forth where she goes, "Oh, you're impossible." "Oh yeah, and you're easy." Like there's so many hard laughs in that movie. Killer.
Oh, wait.
The Simpsons debuts as a series of shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show. I mean, The Simpsons.
1987.
I mean, that's a crazy. That first season of writers on The Simpsons is like all from Taxi.
Yeah.
They're all like heavyweight writers.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's lasted forever.
Yeah,
It's still going.
it's one of the great shows.
Beverly Hills Cop topped the movie charts, while Dirty Dancing was an unexpected hit. Love both.
I never saw Dirty Dancing. I can't believe I have never seen it.
No one puts baby in a corner.
I get the reference, but I don't get the
You
reference.
don't get the reference.
I know. Beverly
don't.
Hills Cop is
Spectacular.
My dad, that was like an important thing. My dad was like, we have to watch Beverly Hills Cop. And, you know, it's like he loved Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, man, it was the best. I liked the third one when they went to the amusement park. A lot of people hated it. A lot of people thought it sucked. That's when that you always kind of favor up with like the movie that you grew, like you cross traject with like your age where you kind of start getting jokes, like the Rockies. Like I didn't like the first three until I like grew up and I was older. But when like Rocky 4 came out and it was like action 80s, like that's the one I liked because I was at the age where I could understand.
No, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you rewatch, you're like, oh, that's way better. That one's better.
No, but I never saw Beverly Hills Cop 3. The first two are killer. Lights out. Mike Tyson's Punch Out is released.
Oh my God.
You remember that shit?
I do.
Yeah.
I remember that. They didn't have that yet. They had something. No, that was Duck Hunt. Because this had to be a Nintendo.
But the arcade, I think, did it have the thing where you do that?
Remember,
Yeah.
I felt like we were terrible podcasting, but yeah, we're holding on to things and you hit.
Yeah. Well, people watch this on YouTube too, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an adaptation of the 1984 arcade game Punch Out.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's what it is.
Mike Tyson moved to 32-0, first unified champ since 1978.
Yeah, it was like Super Bowl Sunday anytime he fought when I was a kid.
He was the baddest dude.
Terrifying.
And, I mean, you saw him fuck that guy up in Delta One. That was like, he's still got it.
I mean, I do tip my hat to that man that was jawing Mike Tyson.
I don't. He sucked.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, this guy's got balls.
I think does he have balls or is he just stupid?
Well, could it be a mixture of both? Probably.
Yeah.
Let's get to the 1986-87 NFL season. Bo Jackson was the first overall pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but pulled an Elway and went to the Royals instead.
Insane that he was that good at sports.
Dude, he was so monstery. Remember when he played with the Royals and he scaved the wall, caught like he tracked a ball probably like 60 yards that was on a rope, scales a wall, runs up the wall, throws a guy. I mean, he was so athletic. And the baseball pants, they looked like Under Armour on him. And before Under Armour was even made, his thighs were like chafing while he was running like a gazelle.
He was a gazelle. I just watched the Nolan Ryan doc, which is amazing if you haven't seen it. But there's a great scene of Bo Jackson versus Nolan. It's just like alpha versus alpha, legend versus legend. And you forget Nolan Ryan wasn't invincible. It's like, yeah, he hit some bombs off him,
dude.
You know,
and people forget that Bo Jackson was that good of a baseball player.
He was great at baseball and football.
Really good. Record set. Dan Marino, most passing attempts with 623. Dan Marino, most completions with 378. Those have been topped? Those have had to been topped.
Yeah, gotta be. Let me look into that.
MVP, Lawrence Taylor, first defensive player to win the award since 1971. 20.5 sacks, 106 total tackles. And, I mean, he was just the baddest dude.
He's a savant player.
Yeah.
I mean, to hear the stories about him, and I'm sure Mr. Sims will give us a couple. I'm looking forward to hearing it because all the stories I've heard is he's just it didn't matter what time he went to bed or what he was doing. He was going to be balling on the football field.
Yeah, like one of the early party, but still delivered. I mean, epic.
Yeah. Coach of the Year, Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to get some good stories about him. That'll be interesting. The rule change, the first introduction of the replay for the officials. Wow. They still haven't got that one down.
It just lengthens the game.
Regardless, the referee play has gotten so inconsistent.
Yeah.
I mean, there's black and there's white. We have so much gray in our rules right now. It's fucking ridiculous. I can't watch a game without it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, let the boys play. I know we got lawsuits. People were getting hurt and head, but like, all right, we know what we signed up for.
Oh, dude, how about baseball with these replays? You're like, this is already the slowest game on the planet.
Yeah, baseball, you need to not have replays.
Yeah.
Okay,
Get it right, or
3 innings, 1 pitcher, and a guy on second. Let's go.
You're getting rid of the guy running out and kicking dirt on the umpire's feet because you're reviewing it. I want to see a guy be like, fuck you, and get thrown out.
Yeah. Like, remember that one dude who went outrageous in like a AAA team? He's throwing what's the thing called? The chalk?
Yeah.
Do they have those anymore?
The rosin bag.
The rosin bag. Do they still have them? I don't see them as often.
I think they're back there.
Are they back
They
there?
got to be in the bullpen, right?
Gotta be.
Got
Look
it.
into that.
Man. But I remember that one guy who like had a crazy meltdown. The manager like threw one at the bomb, like bear crawling. Like, those are always fun.
I do remember Robbie Alomar spitting on a manager and being like, holy shit, that's crazy. Great player.
You will.
But you can't spit on you can't spit on an umpire.
No, you can't.
You just can't do it.
You remember Bill Romanowski spitting into JJ Stokes' face?
Yeah, he was a fucking scary dude.
He was a maniac.
Yeah. Did you know him?
No.
Yeah.
He still looks like a maniac.
Yeah.
What were you doing 1987?
We were both babies, dude.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but I've got pictures.
Do you?
I mean, my mom does.
What kind of pictures?
There's one picture. My mom's an artist, so there's one picture of me in like a jean. Her artsy friend took a picture of me in a jean jacket, dick just flopping out.
Did it?
And it's a baby dick.
Yeah.
I don't know why we had. I mean, like, there's no need for this. She has it up in her office. I'm like, why is this? Who is this for?
You know, technically, you can get some trouble for that these days.
If it's your son, I think you're okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I wonder who had a bigger penis at one.
Mine's not looking great in that photo.
I mean,
It's not looking amazing.
2 Jews. That's not going to come away. It's not going to be a good.
I don't know how they performed the circumcision.
Yeah,
I'll put it this way. It was not looking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into the teams. New York Football Giants 14-2, path to the Super Bowl, beat my San Francisco 49ers.
49-3.
Smoked them. They were physical at the line of scrimmage. I remember seeing the old footage. You got to be physical with the finesse Niners. I think Joe was hurt too. Maybe that was the reason. Beat the Redskins. Beat the Redskins and Joe Gibb. Beat Joe Gibb and the Redskins in the Win Bowl. Coached by Bill Parcells, defensive coordinator, old Coach Belichick, special teams coach, Romeo Cornell. And we'll leave it at that. Mr. Sims is going to be on here. He had a career high 4 game-winning drives this year. He had 3,487 yards, 21 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. We gotta get that ratio better, Mr. Sims.
Yeah, well, he wasn't scared to let it fly.
He was not scared to let it fly, and that's what made him good.
Yeah.
Competitor. Get it done. Second and the last player to ever win MVP. Oh, Lawrence Taylor. All right, there we go.
That's crazy.
Lawrence Taylor, the second and
Ray Lewis
last.
never won a regular season MVP?
DOP, DOYP. Defensive Player of the Year, or DOPY.
That's
DOPY.
crazy that never happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's quarterback. That's a quarterback award.
Yeah.
What's the last quarterback that hasn't got it? We'll have to ask Jackie on the.
Let me take a look right now.
All right. They also had Carl Banks, which he was an absolute monster legend. Some people even say he was the best linebacker on the team. I don't know.
I mean, during that postseason run, he kind of was.
Yeah.
The last non-QB to win the MVP was former guest Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson, running
2012.
back. Endangered species, the running back.
I don't know. Have you seen Saquon Barkley, dude? I think we're bringing it back.
We'll see.
He's bringing it back, dude.
We'll see.
Talk about legs. You're talking about Bo Jackson's legs. Have you seen Saquon's leg?
Quadzilla.
Yeah.
Quadzilla. They had the 8th ranked scoring offense, led by Mr. Sims, an all-pro tight end Mark Bavaro, and running back Joe Morris. 2nd ranked scoring defensive coordinator, of course, Bill Belichick and his little schemes that I hope we get into with old Mr. Sims. They had the nickname, the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Yeah. And then you got the Denver Broncos, who are 11-5, first in the AFC West. They beat New England 22-17 in the divisional. They beat the Browns in the conference. The Drive. Coach Dan Reeves. They had Elway, Gary Kubiak,
Backup quarterback, head coach.
Yeah, and then you have Tom Jackson, Sammy Winder. 8th ranked offense, 18th or 15th ranked defense. Sorry, led by all pros Carl Melkenberg, and I think that's why the Giants won. And Rulon Jones, great D run, and it was Elway's 4th season. He was a scrambling man. I mean, he was hard to get down. He had a cannon.
Yeah, they said that he was like one of the highest projected draft quarterbacks in the history of the game. Like when he came out, he was you would not miss if you got John Elway. And it's crazy to see how he got to the Denver Broncos, saying he was going to hold out to play for the Yankees because he was a 2-sport athlete. The guy was a stud.
Yeah.
That didn't end up happening. Ended up with the Denver Broncos. And the rest is history.
And he was able to win them games and was clutch in the playoffs with the drive. And that's, we talked about what matters. That's why we're bringing Phil Simms here. So, Elway was a beast.
Yeah, absolute beast. Let's get to the game. First half. Giants open up with a score on the first possession. They trade scores. Broncos miscues and missed opportunities. They missed a 23-yard field goal.
Crazy to miss that in the Super Bowl. Because I think he hit the longest one, too, right? And missed the shortest.
Yeah, he hit 48-yarder, which was tied for the longest, and then turned around and set the record missing the 23-yarder.
23. And he also missed a 34-yarder, which is kind of a gimme. Elway takes a safety. That's never good. Had a chance to go up 17-7, but didn't. Not their best half by any means, but the Giants hung in there. They had a couple goal line stands, which was huge. And to go in at halftime only down 1 point with the miscues that the Giants had was pretty impressive. So probably confident.
Sims puts on a show. He's 22 of 25, throws 3 touchdowns, led 5 straight scoring drives in the second. He couldn't miss his target.
No.
In the second.
5 straight scoring drives.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And they just pulled away. I mean, you see that moment where like Elway just couldn't do shit in the second half.
Yeah.
That defense was too hostile. It was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of good playmakers on that defense.
So it was a rematch from earlier in the year where the Giants won 19-16 and they forced 4 turnovers in that one. Things we might have forgotten. Neil Diamond did the national anthem.
Neil Diamond.
He's a Boston guy.
Yeah, I think I've seen him at some. I think we did a charity event.
I mean, they always play him at the Red Sox games, right?
Yeah.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah,
really bugs the shit out of me.
Really 7th inning, right? Or is it 7th inning?
Yep, 7th inning. Wait,
or is it the 8th? Because
right
7th inning is take me out to the, and then we go after that. Usually it's always amazing when you have a huge lead against the Yankees. You got them in there in their pinstripes, and all of a sudden you start singing Sweet Caroline.
Bugs me.
Bum, bum, bum.
I was like, how'd they find a worse?
Time's never been so good. Harder.
Meanwhile, the Yankees are doing Cotton Eye Joe. Have you ever heard that one?
No.
Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. You never seen that one?
Nah.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's pretty forgettable.
Oh, it's forgettable. It's bad. Halftime show is George Burns, Mickey Rooney. This is old school that you have comedians doing. You have a comedian. Didn't George Burns have that famous joke? It only takes 1 drink to get me drunk. The trouble is I can't remember if it's the 13th or 14th. That's some classic joke writing.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know George Burns, or I don't know him that well.
You know his face if you see him.
If I saw him?
Yeah, you know what he looks like.
See, you're starting to get me more and more. You know, yeah. I may not know.
No, you know
the name, but the face. Oh,
you know that guy.
Yeah, I've seen him before a few times.
Classic. He lived to like 100. Yeah, he's around.
Smoking cigars, living to 100. That's
old school, man.
That's just good genes.
Yeah.
The first Gatorade shower in Super Bowl history, and the first I'm going to Disneyland. I'm going to Disney World. Where are you going, Phil Sims? I'm going to Disney World. Yeah, first one of those too.
That's pretty epic.
It is.
Because you think of that as every year now, and you think of you said I'm going to Disney World.
I said it a couple times.
And the I almost said the golden shower. The Gatorade shower. It was not the golden shower.
It was not, but could be.
Could have been lemon lime though.
Could have been lemon lime.
It's kind of close.
Depends.
But,
Is that
what's your Gatorade flavor?
I always liked lemon lime or fruit punch. I like the
Those
original.
kind of mine too. Although the blue is pretty good too.
And they have an ice one. There's like some ice
Lemon
flavor. No, it's like a blue ice, light blue. Pretty delicious.
Back in the day, you would win shit from Gatorade. They would have the glass Gatorade bottles, and they would have prizes under the cap. Here was a great hack. Lemon ice was the clear flavor. You could just straight up look under and see if you won. So I would just always win.
I remember those two, I think.
Yeah.
But it wasn't better than the McDonald's Monopoly.
Dude, that was like a fat kid because of that game. I had tits because of that because I thought I was going to get Boardwalk. I was stuck on Park Place like a degenerate gambler. It was terrible.
I wonder if they did it like regionally. Like there's like one Broadway over here, one Park Place in like New Hampshire. Because I remember dreaming about that, watching Blank Check. Remember that movie Blank Check? I'm going to win. I'm going to get Boardwalk and Park Place or whatever it was.
They were really raising like the most unhealthy kids.
Oh,
because you're a gambler and you're eating McDonald's. You're raising disgusting people.
That's America.
That was me. I mean,
That's America.
I was all in on it, dude. And then you'd be like fucking, he'd be like, Atlantic Avenue, who gives a shit? What are the bad ones? Like
the railroad?
Yeah, railroad. Oh, that hurt.
I'm gonna get $200 for gas.
What were the really bad ones? What were like the shittiest?
The Reds.
The Reds were okay. I'm thinking
like Kentucky Avenue.
Yeah, no good.
Pennsylvania Avenue.
Who cares?
Tennessee Avenue, Virginia Avenue, Vermont Avenue, Mediterranean Avenue.
What?
Mediterranean. They get weird every day. They throw in like Oriental, and you're like, wait a second, who made this game? Bunch of racists. The gaming corner presented by WynnBET. So the Giants were 9.5 and they covered.
Minus 9.5 points.
Yeah.
Yikes. The over and under 41 points. That went over.
I mean, they just crushed them in the second half. They never looked back.
I mean, I bet you a lot of gamblers got hurt on this one.
Yeah.
Because 9.5 points in the Super Bowl, I don't care who you got. You do got the Giants. See, I'm still new to this. So actually, I should just keep my mouth shut.
Well, what should we do? What should our bet be with Sims? How about if we say how many times we can say the New York Football Giants?
I mean, it's like just the classic word. We have to. The New York Football Giants. What are we going to set the line at?
What are you thinking, Jack? What do you think we can hit?
I think 5.5 sounds reasonable.
5.5?
That's not that many. We could definitely. That's easy. I mean, we easily do 5.5.
Yeah, I would take the. We'll see. We'll see what the listeners think. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't.
All right. Well, we're gonna have Phil Sims in the studio,
joining us.
Excited. Rare to get a guy in the studio, but
it is. We're still like break fasting COVID.
Yeah.
So, but until then, let's take a quick break.
Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? The Giants.
Niners.
Don't just say it. Put your money where your mouth is. Download the WynnBET app and use promo code XGWN. And when you bet $25, you get $50. That's free money. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older to participate.
This two-timer Pro Bowl, that shit bothers me. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No.
Bothers,
you can curse.
Swearing
you can curse.
No, just
shit.
But, guys make so many Pro Bowls now because the first 7 quarterbacks pull out.
I mean,
yeah,
Phil.
Oh, well, I should have said yes.
You should have.
I didn't because
every time you were competing for Super Bowls.
Well, the other thing is too, the Pro Bowl was scary.
Well, they used to hit.
Yes, that was scary. Here's the play call. All right, guys, I'm going to get rid of it quick. Please, here we go. Protect me. Here's the play. I'm not exaggerating because it was.
Did people get injured in the Pro Bowl back then?
Oh.
No, but it was kill the quarterback. You think they cared if the running back ran through there? They wanted to get sacks, and that was it.
So, Mr. Sims, are you trying to? Or sorry, Phil. We're.
No, you can call me Mr. Shims.
All right. You let me know. Okay. Do you ever think you got a roughing the passer call?
I don't even remember roughing the passer being something you could throw a flag on. I'm sure I did, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I just don't remember roughing the passer being part of the game. And sometimes every once in a while I'll go by a TV and I see an old game of ours and I look up there and I just laugh. Oh my gosh. No wonder I'm beat up. No, but it was just a different era and nobody thought anything about it.
No.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why he's tough. And that's why you feel the toughness off of Phil Sims when you're working with him every week, Tuesday on Inside the NFL, streaming on Paramount Plus. And let's welcome Mr. Philip Sims from Kentucky.
Yes.
This is Sam Morril, my co-host.
Sam, how you doing, man?
Nice to meet
Good
you,
talk
Phil.
to you.
I'm Julian.
Kentucky, man. That's like,
And Mr. Kentucky.
Yeah.
Mr. Kentucky.
What do you mean? That's like what? What are you?
oh, it's like, I love Kentucky.
What you talking about?
Bourbon country.
A lot of bourbon.
Yeah, everybody thinks I'm a bourbon drinker. I don't like bourbon. It's too sweet. Not a big drinker, but
Well, if you do drink, what's your go-to?
I like to get there quick.
Crystal meth. That's what.
No. Oh, it tastes terrible, but I feel better.
Yeah.
No, yeah. That's one thing comes with age.
Yeah.
You don't mind a cocktail at night every once in a while. That's for sure.
So what's the cocktail thing that you do? Like
Vodka.
Vodka?
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we start,
Yeah, what we gonna do?
Mr. Sims, Phil,
Yeah.
I don't know what to call you now. Now I feel a little nervous.
just, hey,
I feel
no.
like we're on the same,
No, wait. Just do what you always do, Mr. Shims.
All right, I'll call you Mr. Sims.
Shims.
Mr. Sims.
We do. Yeah, well, go ahead.
So, before we start, we got your little accolades here. 7th overall pick in the 1979 draft.
Yeah, that went over well with the Giant fans.
Did it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were they pissed?
Oh, yeah.
Gee.
Who do they want?
Well, I don't think anybody back then, thank God, ESPN and everybody wasn't out there going over every player. So the fans really didn't know the players. I wasn't surprised I went the 7th pick. And
There was talk of you going earlier.
no, I think I knew all the teams that were going to probably draft me. And I knew the Giants, they basically said 2 weeks before the draft, we're taking you. And they told my coach that too.
From Morehead State?
Yeah, I know. From Morehead State.
Morehead State, fun fact, is named after a man pleading with his Jewish wife.
Oh my God. Okay, this is a podcast. Okay.
He's a 2-time Super Bowl champ, a Super Bowl MVP. And,
Like you. See, we got something in common.
but you were the first to do the Disney commercial, right?
I was. Did you get to do it too?
I did it twice.
Oh, you did it twice. Oh, good
Nice.
for
Did
you.
it twice.
Yeah, I did it. And I was like, what am I doing here?
But
walking across the field, I'm going, and I just was embarrassed because it's a football game. I just, we're old school. You are too.
Yeah.
And I just said, what are we doing here? I mean, it's just not right. But I'm glad I did it for a lot of reasons.
You started the trend.
Yeah, it was great.
Were you nervous? I mean, coming out of Kentucky, coming to New York City in the 80s, was that at all like such a big market? I guess they hadn't won ever. They never won a Super Bowl, right? At that point?
Yeah, no, they hadn't. But no, they won a lot of championships back in the old days in the 50s. But no, I wasn't nervous about coming up. People always ask me those kind of questions, which I understand. I played at Morehead State, and my favorite games when we were away and we were at homecoming, because everybody picked us for our homecoming team. Well, we want to win. Let's play Morehead State. But the great thing is there was a crowd there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I loved the fact having a crowd, and sometimes they would chant my name like Kill Sims. I'm like, man, I must be really doing pretty good. But I wasn't nervous. And Jules, you know this too. The football field, it doesn't matter where it is or whatever. It's the same.
Yeah.
And how did you adapt from small college to this? I don't know. After a few practices, you get the hang of it.
You have no choice. Yeah, they replaced you.
Yeah. Well, not only that, you just kind of adjust. You go, oh, I threw that pass and the linebacker picked it off, which I've never seen before. So the next time I said, I got to be a little more, pay more attention, whatever, see it differently. And I don't know. I felt like even my rookie year, you kind of pick up with the talent and go from there.
Well, there's always like a defining play when you're a younger person or a rookie in the league. Like for me, it was when I ran a punt back in the preseason. Then I was like, all right, I can play with these guys.
Yeah.
There's always one defining moment. Like it could have been the next time you threw that cover 2 with the linebacker not picking it. You're like, oh, all right, I just got to not make the same mistake twice.
Right.
So that there's always that one play that always defines, all right, gives you that confidence.
Mine would be this. I didn't play in our first preseason game with the Giants. They wanted to hold me out and give me another week of practice. So we go down to Pittsburgh. Well, okay, Pittsburgh's are on their way to winning their 4th Super Bowl that year, and they decided me to play in Three River Stadium. And I get under the center and go, there's Joe Green, there's L.C. Green. It was unbelievable. It was 8 Hall of Famers, and I'm looking at them going, it was something else.
You want to rip your head off, too.
I got great stories about that game, but there's Mean Joe Green. Let's stop the game. I need some autographs. All these guys that I idolized, Terry Bradshaw growing up.
Yeah.
And there I was playing against him, so it was really.
Did he say anything like after the game? Did he ever say anything to you when you were young?
No, I didn't get to talk to him after that game. Mean Joe Green said something to me. We talked for a second and all that. And then 8 years later, we had won the Super Bowl and we're playing there. He's a coach for the Steelers. And he comes over and grabs me and goes, my boy, you've grown up.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, you remember when we played? It was really cool. He was
probably a charmer.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, he was one of the greatest defensive linemen in history, but it was pretty cool to play against him and then have him say that to me years later. So he at least I must have done. Well, I did throw an interception for a touchdown to them for about 80 yards that night. But I think that's when I realized I could play.
Yeah.
Because practice and all that. And down there, it wasn't like a great statistical game or anything like. My dad drove up from Louisville, Kentucky with my mom. And after the game, he goes, I don't know, I'll just say, he goes, boy, I think that's the best I've ever seen you play. And I didn't do anything really, but I think he just was worried about my transition from college to the pros. How's it going to look?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's okay.
You can hang.
He'll survive.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Well,
that was cool.
We came here because this is called Games with Names.
Right.
We're on the search for the best games of all time. Super Bowl 21, which was the kickstart to the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
And the New York Football Giants' success going forward. You were a huge part of that. Some people say you had the best game in Super Bowl history for a quarterback. But what was 1987 like? What was, because it was 1987. I was 1 year old, so I can't remember.
I was also one. We
were one.
Yeah.
We were one. But you were in the heat of it. You were in the prime of your life.
Well, I thought you were talking about the 87 season after the Super Bowl.
Nah, what was life like?
Yeah.
Mr. Sims just walking down, Broadway, starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants, hanging out with LT, going golfing, what was it like?
It's nothing like you think it was.
Nothing?
Well, I don't know. It wasn't glamorous. I think that was when the fans kind of went, all right, we'll let you hang around a few more years.
Yeah.
It was tough. I had a lot of tough years, and we had tough outings in a couple playoff games or years before that. But for it to all come together, and my God, you were on many Super Bowl teams. It's amazing how it just kind of rolls, and all of a sudden you go, wow, we really got a chance big time to win all this.
Yeah.
And I think we realized that late in that year, but we just, whenever the plays had to be made or anything big, we always came through.
Yeah.
And that's, kind of, I know that sensation, but you get confident, you believe in everything. And I think the biggest thing, too, I learned from Bill Parcells, many things. But when you're out there playing, don't ever think about winning and losing. Just do it, man. Pay attention to what you're doing. And when I did that, I usually played pretty well.
Well, you talk about going against a scary Pittsburgh defense when you're young, but now you have this defense behind you, like LT, Carl Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these are dudes you don't want to go against.
Well, we were loaded.
Yeah.
Gosh, I would throw an interception, which I wasn't afraid to throw them. And I would be walking off the field, and Lawrence Taylor would go by, don't worry, we'll get it back for you in better position. And I'd go, okay. Yeah. It would take the steam off of it. It was great. I would feel, but it was kind of true.
Yeah.
Man, we'd get turnovers. They would make plays. And even though we'd mess it up, we'd get good field position, give us another chance. But our defense, we played to it. They were great. And, of course, you've said some of those names. Man, we had a lot of good players. Of course, you have to win Super Bowls.
There's actually talks about when you were coming out from Morehead State that Bill Walsh came down, talked to you. I remember you talking about something like that, and that he was actually more interested in getting you than Montana.
Well, you got Joe Montana. He didn't get me in the first round. He had to do with Joe Montana in the third round.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
But it was one of the greatest experience. It was a great experience. He came down twice.
Yeah.
And we threw. And so back then there wasn't what was a combine just for injuries, but every team wanted to see your workout. So I probably did at least 20 workouts that off season. And Bill Walsh came down. Everybody wanted to see the same thing. Let it go. Just throw it. So, man, okay, I'll do it. And then I'd have like 7 receivers out there and throw it as hard as I could throw it. Yeah. Bill Walsh is there. I start throwing it. I'm crushing the ball. It's coming out of my hand. I'm like, man, I am ripping it today. He goes, what are you doing? And I go, well, what? Isn't this what you want to see? He goes, I don't want to know. And then he went, to Bill Walsh. No, I want you to be graceful. Try to be pretty. They actually said this. And I'm looking. Football. I know. He goes, I want it to be great. Just let it and relax and all this stuff. And so I kind of he goes, softer. He's really going behind me going, softer. And I just he goes, oh, that's it. And I started.
The opposite of a woman.
Oh, this guy's, oh my God, you guys. But I just going, what is going on here? And then the workout's over the second time. He goes to me, all right, here we go. I'm going to draft you. I want you out there the next morning. We're going to work. And you're going to lead the NFL in passing. You're going to lead them in this. And you're going to lead them in touch. And I'm standing there and he goes, I guess I got a look on my face. He goes, well, you don't believe me? I go, yeah, I believe you, coach. Then he starts naming off every quarterback he's ever had, won all the passing titles, which is true. Yeah. And I was pretty excited about it. I go, oh, man, this will be great to play for him, go to San Francisco and all that. But, well, we know it didn't work out.
Yeah. But it worked out for both of you.
Well, it worked out for Joe Montana, too. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah. Joe was the perfect quarterback for him. He was the first quarterback that I used to watch and go, God, he is pretty.
Yeah.
Has great feet. And, I'd watch film and see them playing. I'll go, oh, my gosh, he hits like 10 in a row every game. And I'm just going, it looks so easy for the 49ers because they were ahead of their time.
And what they were run and shoot there. Almost.
It was just
spread and shred.
West Coast offense. Yeah. As Bill Walsh would say, 3rd and 10. If the guy 5 yards down the field is open, throw it to him. If he gets tackled, don't worry. We'll get a better player next year to break the tackle.
Running catch.
Yeah, it was really just keep throwing it, let them catch it, and let's see what happens. So
what's the best Parcells story you have that you have never told?
Oh, never. I've told them all. I don't know. He was great, not great. Many things. Of course, he yelled at me a lot.
Did he?
Yeah.
Did you ever yell back at him?
All the time. We were allowed to yell back.
Yeah.
He would yell at me, and it was all kind of orchestrated. He knew he was going to do it. Sam's, and he would really yell. And sometimes it just keep going on. I go, I could literally turn to him and go, shut up. Holy Christ, all you do is, and he goes, oh, are you mad at me? And, and I tell people these stories, they don't believe it. But he was unbelievable that way. He yelled at you, and then he would allow you to yell back if you knew the situation was right. And everybody in the team would laugh because, get him, Bill, but it was his way of sending a message to the whole team through players. And he was great at that. He was the greatest manipulator of people I've ever been around in my life, for real. But he would yell, Sims, come here during the game. Come here. I'd throw an interception and I'd go, I go, I just want to know, are you watching the same game I'm watching?
Oh, man.
I go, that's a good one. I just keep walking. But the things we said to each other during games, I'm not proud of it at all. I really am not. But I never got in arguments with him or all this stuff, but not always knowing he's the man.
Yeah.
I knew I was talking to the guy that's running the organization and had a lot of power, and he scared me.
Yeah.
What about young Belichick?
Well, oh my gosh. I could tell some stories about him, but whatever. I remember I would stay late every night. And some nights I'd stay really late because I wanted to get all the work. I want to do all the work on Wednesday.
Yeah.
When I come in Thursday, I want it to be over. Now I'm just whatever. And I would walk by the coach's room. It would be 9 o'clock at night. And there would be Bill Belichick with Al Groh riding their stationary bikes with rubber suits on, just sweating and running the machines. And they got a clicker. Yeah, and they're talking. I'd see them and I just go, oh, those guys are crazy. But that was him.
Wow.
He did it 30 years later when I went in there.
Oh,
9 o'clock in an off season on the treadmill with his little sweat jacket that they cut.
Oh.
They started all that at the Giants. It's so funny to hear.
Oh.
There was a Belichick story at the Super Bowl after you guys won it. Do you remember this? He went on the field to really take it all in. And then he tried to get back to the locker room, and they wouldn't let him back in.
Oh, my gosh. I haven't heard that.
It's crazy. I'm right? You'll fact check that, Jack, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Well, even when he was with us, they were calling him Boy Genius.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they meant it in a complimentary way. He just was so studious and worked so hard. The players, he gave them such great information and all that they, Boy Genius. And, Bill he really didn't change all of his years coming with up the New England and everything.
Yeah.
He was still the same guy that coached, our defense through all those years.
Any and Romeo Crennel there as well?
Yeah, Romeo Crennel, Al Groh, Charlie Weiss. Who else? We had Tom Coughlin.
Tommy Coughlin.
I mean, I look at some of our pictures, team photos, and go, yeah, that coaching might have had something to do with us winning. I mean, we had an all-star coaching staff, which I think you always kind of need.
Coughlin got no respect. He really deserved. Up until he won too. That was a classic thing where he was going to get fired the year he won the first one with the Giants.
Well, yeah, they were close. In fact, I think it came down to the last game of the year. They beat Buffalo in Buffalo, got some breaks. Otherwise, it could have been trouble. I don't know, but that's always a story I hear.
I'm so fascinated with LT because he's just maybe the best ever on defense.
Well, he was bigger than life.
Yeah.
He was his rookie year. We had a scrimmage. They had to take him out after 10 plays. Couldn't scrimmage. Had to take him out. He was sacking quarterback every play. And I go, God, this guy's really everything they said he was.
Yeah.
But for real, I think he had 6 sacks in 10 plays. They said, get him out. We can't judge anybody.
Is it true that he was sending prostitutes to the opposing team's hotel rooms to tire them out for the next day?
Well, I've heard all those stories. I didn't know that. I can't listen. I know it's a podcast and all this. I still can't tell you some of the Lawrence Taylor stories. But they're endless and they're hilarious. I got to leave it at that.
But he was a savant. I mean, he was. I heard stories that he would be sleeping through certain team meetings, and then they'd wake him up and he'd know every play.
Yes, that's true.
Wow.
That's all true. He was a great athlete. There was nothing we ever played that he wasn't good at. We played basketball. He picks up golf, became a 1 or 2 handicap after, 9. He plays about 500 rounds of golf a year. So, but yeah, he was really good at everything. And there was nothing he couldn't do. So Lawrence, we had a basketball go outside our locker room, and I was shooting one day. He goes, "Oh, come here, I can shoot better than you." He goes, I said, "I bet you can't make 10 in a row." "Oh, I'll bet you whatever you want." No, making 10 in a row,
it's tough.
You can hit 8 and just, you miss it. He goes, "All right, double or nothing." "Sure. Let's double it one more time." I said, "Look, this is no funsies. I want to be paid when this is over." And he would we go in the stadium once. He goes, "I can take this club and hit it out of the stadium." I said, "No, you can't." He goes, "Well," so of course we bet. We bet on everything. And he goes out there and swings, hits the ball. It's going around all the suites. And I'm like, and of course he didn't hit it out. Then he says to me, "I'm throwing the ball once. I can throw it in the second tier." I said, "No, you can't." I mean, that's a 70-yard throw up. And he goes, "I can't." So he throws 2 or 3, and we're, of course, wagering, and it just keeps going, double or nothing. And I said, again, I went in, he carried a lot of cash. He takes it and throws it on the ground. "Oh, I'm so embarrassed, I'll have to pick it up." But yeah, so there was nothing Lawrence didn't think he could do and do it really well. So we took advantage of that opportunity.
The stories could go forever.
Oh, they can go forever. It's I wish I could tell. I went on a golfing trip or down to South Jersey to play with him, me, him, and Jim Burt. And we're going to play with some officials down there and some giant officials. And Lawrence goes, I said, I'll drive. Lawrence goes, no, I'm driving. I go, oh my God, I don't want to let him drive.
First take a breathalyzer.
Well, no, he was okay there. So I look at Jim Burt, who was our nose tackle. I said, I'm in the back. He goes, no, you're not. You're in the front. I'm sitting in the back. He's like, so we're flying down the turnpike. I'm sitting there. Oh my God, slow down. We're doing like 90 to 100.
Yeah.
A policeman pulls up beside us and goes on his mic, slow down, and I think he recognized Lawrence. And Lawrence goes, oh, got it. The cop takes off, the policeman, I shouldn't say, whatever. And he gets whatever, and Lawrence floors again. It's Lawrence. Oh, he won't come back. And I don't know what to say. The stories don't do justice. Yeah, dipping. He was dipping. And so he threw his dip out the window. He goes like this, and he throws it, and we hear ding, ding, ding. His ring came off and lost it out in the road.
He lost his Super Bowl ring?
No, it wasn't a Super Bowl ring. It was a ring with lots of jewelry in it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Well, let's get to the lead up of Super Bowl 21, NFC Championship, the Wynn Bowl.
Oh.
What was that like? You playing Joe Gibbs and the Washington Redskins at the time?
Yeah. What's it like? You dream of playing in the championship game, right?
Yeah.
And I'd jog out in the field, and I literally couldn't hardly run into the wind. It was so strong. And I go, I finally get here, and this is what I got to play in.
What are we talking? Like 30-mile-an-hour gusts?
42 miles an hour.
42 miles an hour?
At game time, it was 42 miles an hour.
Wow.
And, if you ever look at the game, there's stuff blowing everywhere the whole game. And I thought it was brutal. And the great thing, coaches, it's never an accident. We win the toss. Or I can't remember. We win the toss. We defended a goal. Who would think of that? Bill goes, I want to get on. He didn't even say it. He goes, I just want to get on top first. We score first. We got them, And the Washington Redskins at the time, they made a huge mistake. We kicked the field goal on our first drive. It was 3rd and long. We had a penalty, and we'd had to kick another long field goal. Joe Gibbs accepted it to take us out of field goal range, he thought. Well, the next play, I threw it down the middle for a huge gain, got a first down, and we drove down and scored. And literally the game was over in the first quarter.
Those games people don't realize are like game changing. In 2013, we played. Remember the Cleveland game where we came back and in overtime, it was Denver. We elected to defend a certain goal because it had the wind to the back of it, so you could get the field goal. And everyone, was shaking their head. What's Belichick doing? This guy's an idiot. We ended up winning the game. Like no one could throw into that side of the wind.
No, and
it comes and it roots from the Giants' experience. I bet because Bill doesn't forget anything.
And Parcells, we were extremely. What's the word for it? Careful. If it was 4th and 2 inches, we punted. Today, it literally could be this much. Punt it. Let the defense get it. We'll get it back here.
But when you had that defense too.
Well, that had a lot to do with it. It was just the time of everything too. But we ran fake field goals, flea flickers. We did everything.
Did a flea flicker in the Super Bowl.
Well, we did a flea flicker, went for it on 4th,
Yeah.
And that play was extremely complicated, believe it or not, when Jeff Rutledge runs a sneak. We had 7 plays. He had to check into the right play. And they called it, a Rapaho, a run, a pass, a hit on the enemy.
Yeah.
That was what it was. And he had to pick which play. And it was a quarterback sneak because they didn't put a guy over the guard.
Wow.
But we gambled a lot. And I swear I can't remember when he made a gamble that we didn't make it. So Bill had a great feel. Parcells had a great feel for when to do those things.
And a plan when to do those situational plays, probably. Like they went into, the game with that potential situation to happen. They'd have 3 or 4 plays waiting for it.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan when you go on those.
I could hear him. We're going to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that meant we're going to really throw it and we're really going to take chances, which we normally didn't do.
Yeah.
So, it was great. He did it in the Super Bowl, the flea flicker, the 4th down. He was awesome at making those decisions, especially during big moments when people were getting tight. So.
Now, you guys clearly you played Denver Broncos, Elway and the Broncos. But what about did you guys play before them in the
Played them during the regular season.
No, in the championship weekend. Did you guys play?
We were second.
You were second. So
Yeah.
you knew the drive happened. You knew that they beat the Browns, and you knew going into the Wynn Bowl that you were going to play the potential Broncos.
We were in the locker room going out to play the game. That game was still going on at the very end. He was starting to drive.
Yeah.
And I remember looking up there and going, I knew Denver. We played them during the season. I'd played Cleveland the 2 years before that twice. And I go, God, I hope Denver wins, because Cleveland's defense was a big pain in the you know what.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know until we got out in the field, and I think we were just kind of warming up and getting ready to kick off the coin toss and all that. And I heard Denver won. And I remember just going, good, we match up better against Denver. That's all I remember thinking about that.
Okay. So then Super Bowl week comes. You guys have a bye week?
Mm-hmm.
You had the extra week?
We had the week in between. Yeah. So we got 3 days off, which was really uncommon. And then we came down and practiced on Thursday, and it was a little shaky, and it was more than shaky. I just remember getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Parcells was, Sims, I'll never give you any days off. It was bad.
It was too many days off, you think?
We're practicing against our defense. It's not like we're going to go out there and tear it up every day.
Yeah.
But I just remember how he was. I couldn't. Here I'm going to get ready to go to the Super Bowl a couple of days later, and all I could do is I was nervous as heck, because I know the practice was bad, and he was brutal. Nothing changes. He lived it all. Practice was the most important thing of our life, and this is the most important day. And if it's not perfect, and it was. You walk into the building at 8 o'clock in the morning, or I'd get there about 7:30 for my first 8 o'clock meeting, and I would get nervous worrying about practice.
Damn.
Yeah.
Parcells, Sims, how many passes did you complete yesterday in practice? I go,
Did he ever give you like positive encouragement to
sometimes, yeah, privately. Shims, I'm imitating him. He goes, I'm really proud of you, son. You're doing well. You're leading the team. I'm just proud of you. Just want you to know today on the practice field, I'm going to tear into you. And I go, well, can't we wait till we get, he goes, oh, come on. I got to teach these other, well, I can say it.
Yeah.
He goes, these other assholes got to see something. I got to get through to them. So I'm going to yell at you. And true to form, no matter how practice is going, if I do an incompletion, he'd throw his papers up in the air and go through these annex and just start ripping me. And I have to stand there like this and take it. And all the teams laugh. Yeah, get him, Bill. He's an ass.
That's such a great abusive relationship that in private, he's like, I love you, son. And then the second you're out there, he's like, you're garbage.
Oh, well, he's yelling at the offensive line one day, just crushing them. And I'm standing behind him going, get him. Because I was getting hit way too much in the games. And he goes, "Gah." And then, of course, he gets done yelling at me, turns around and goes, and it's your fault. And I go, of course it's my fault. I'm effing Sims. I was never, he called me effing Sims. I'm just
fucking Sims?
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking Sims, you're killing me.
But
he would blame me, and I go, well, what did I do? He goes, well, now you're their buddy. Take them out to dinner, Sims. Buy them some more presents. How's that working out for you back there, huh? Is it working out? You used to be their leader. They were afraid of you. And I just, okay. And
is that the line you have to walk? I thought you're supposed to take the line out to dinner.
Well, yeah, but he was mad at them. He thought I was soft on them because, they were my friends.
Yeah.
But I got in a car that night, which I did many times. I'm driving home and I go, hot damn, he's right. He's right. It's like a coach and players. There's a line.
Yeah.
And, the quarterback has a chance to influence people. And especially now here we are sitting here and, I saw Tom Brady yelling at his lineman. I mean, I got to admit, I did that a lot. But I only yelled at one of them. I would yell at the center, and I would just crush him. Yeah. Well, it's not my guy. I said, you don't get the point. I don't care.
Chain of
Fix
command.
it.
Chain of command. Center's the leader of the line.
Yeah. And Bart Oates was a great center for me. He'd go, after I'd yell at him, and I don't know why sometimes they didn't punch me out, because they're all twice the size of me. And Bart Oates would always go, okay, I'll get it straight. So it was great.
That's respect, though, because they understood that you were the first one in, the last one out. You worked your ass off. You got fucking yelled at by everyone. And guys see that, and how you dealt with it is that's a huge part of your leadership. And that's why you were probably one of the toughest competitors ever playing this game.
Well, that's nice of you to say. I don't know about that. I love playing. I love talking about it. I love practice.
Yeah.
I love practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you love it. You don't have to do any. Well, all right, you're not going to listen to these coaches. And
You didn't look forward to it, but you still loved it.
No, I didn't care. I love practice.
Yeah.
I did. It was so much fun, and not fun, but just learning and doing it and everything.
He's a football player.
Yeah, it was nothing like going out and having a good practice. Oh, great, we're going to get better tomorrow. It was great.
And you had a team where you're 14-2 this year, I believe.
Yeah, we were 14-2.
Broncos are 11-5. You are favored to win.
They were 11-5.
Yeah.
Oh, they must have fought because we played them during the season that year. We were both, I think, 10-2.
Really?
I think, or something like that. We were both the same. We had the same records.
Interesting.
Yeah, we were both winning a bunch of close games.
Sheesh.
Let me look.
I
into
might
that.
be wrong. I don't. But,
Well, anyway, you're in Pasadena. I heard the weather in the first half was an issue for you guys.
well, not for me.
Not for you.
It was warm, but when you play, playoff games of 40-mile-an-hour winds,
Right.
and the other one was freezing, and we played in so many bad weather games. Then we went to California. I think I was more excited the fact that we were just playing in California.
Son.
Just warm weather and not gripping that football, which we couldn't rub up like they do now. The footballs were an issue. But it was so warm, it made it better for me.
The weather's better in California, but the people are better here.
Was that it?
New York City, that's what I say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weather's good. Weather's a big part
good
of
weather.
quality of life.
That's
But throwing the football, that was the whole difference to me. It was amazing. I was in a great mood because I was like, wow, this weather. Who couldn't play out here?
This right here, Phil Simms thinks Joe Montana only had the stats he had because he played in California. Great weather. If he played in New York, he would not have been able to do it.
Oh, well, I'm not even. Of course, I'm not saying that.
That's always a New York identity of the teams that win. They always have a great defense, I feel like.
Well, you almost have to because
Yeah.
the wind.
The wind.
Unless you're Josh Allen playing in today's game, it's 30-mile-an-hour winds. Okay.
Still zinging it.
I'll just put a little more heat on it.
It's a lot of good football right now.
Yeah, there really is.
He's incredible.
Let's get into the game. So it was kind of a slow first half, but to come out on your first possession in the biggest game of your life, get 7, what's that do with the confidence?
Well, it was great. I think it lifted the whole team. We were down, of course, as we know, 10-9 at half. And people go, "What went on in your locker room at halftime?" I go, "I don't know. We were relaxed, and Bill Parcells never yelled really, except I can only remember one game where he came in at half and he didn't yell at us. He was like, "Come on, when are we going to end this crap?" Whatever. But it wasn't a big speech. Basically, it was this. He came, "All right, man." What he did say, "We can't play any worse."
Yeah.
And we got 30 minutes. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was always his pregame speeches. "All right, we worked hard all week. You guys run 30. We got 60 minutes. Let's go get it done." It wasn't this rah-rah. What are you going to do? Rah-rah. What? I don't want to hear that either.
Yeah, that's like movie shit. That's not
it's
real
movie.
life.
What do they say, Jules? When you get that emotional speech, you run out there, it's all over after the first play.
All gone.
And then you got to play.
Yeah.
The emotion and all.
But you do think of Al Pacino on Any Given Sunday.
Oh, yeah,
It's a pretty
yeah.
cool speech.
Well, they were trying to copy our guy a little bit. But I just go, he never gave a speech like that. His speeches, you probably got the same thing. Wednesday morning is when you have the address to the crew. And it was long. He could make it 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And it was, here's what we're going to do this week. We're going to throw it against that guy, Sims. We're throwing it to him every chance we get over here at this corner. And we're going to do this and that. And he'd give the State of the Union address. And that was our weekly, what we did for the rest of the week. Keys, and they were big.
The head coach gives his keys, and you break up into offense and defense. The coordinators will give their keys based off of what they think. But every Wednesday when they're installing, the head coach gets up in front of the whole team.
It was awesome. I used to write them down.
Yeah,
because
me
he
too.
would give a good speech. When we were playing the 49ers back in 86, on a Monday night game, he comes in and gives that speech, and he goes, "Hey, now, fellas, he loved talking to you defensive backs. That Jerry Rice is a different dude. He's different. He's going to run really fast that first play. I'm just telling you, the last play of the game, he's still running that fast. So you better be, I'd hear that and go, wow, okay, Jerry Rice is really special.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you cross-pollinate with offense and defense in the same room, hearing guys get coached, it holds an accountability for each side of the ball. When you hear, the offensive guy getting yelled at, the defensive guy walks by him in the cafeteria and say, "Hey, I heard you didn't get that A gap." You know what I mean? Like, so that's a coaching ability. That's a coaching behavior that, I got a lot of because, Belichick was under Parcells and they probably, he probably stole or not stole. That was influenced.
Absolutely.
Sure, he had to be. I mean, I saw Bill Belichick change through the years. He was there in 79 and he took a head job in 1991. Right?
Yeah.
In Cleveland. I think was that right?
Cleveland.
Yeah. So he was there 12 years under Bill Parcells. So of course you're going to learn a lot and imitate a lot of that. So
and that was, Parcells, that was his thing. He could connect with the player.
Oh.
He knew how to get the best out of his player. Like he probably did that to Phil and treated Phil the way he treated him because that's what fires up Phil. Phil likes to be pissed off. He plays well pissed off.
I don't know about
you know what I mean? And that's what Parcells tried to do. I saw a lot of that stuff too, from Belichick with certain people. It's just they do whatever it takes to push the button to get the best out of you.
Pushing buttons. He was great.
Yeah. So you trade.
But here's what Parcells would do. I watched him during the week. He would walk around the locker room and get a guy and go, "All right, now listen, here's what I need from you this week. Now you gotta come on in." And he would work the room like, he had a restaurant. He would hit everybody individually just for 30 seconds and maybe say something, "Now you got to play better. I don't want to take your ass out," or what. But he was if you want honesty, he was honest.
Well, he's looking at every piece of the machine to make sure it's the big blue wrecking crew. Every piece has got to be
But he worked everybody.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable thing. It's the best skill I think a coach can have.
Absolutely.
Is to be able to do this to players, to be tough on them and still, what's the word? Not alienate them.
No.
And all that. They just knew this is what it is. And he's doing, you want honesty? All players, I just want you to be honest. Do you really? Do you really want them?
Yeah.
Well, Bill was honest. I saw him do this. I hate to tell these stories. We're in training camp and we're doing an inside run thing. And we have a guard. I'm not going to say his game. He goes, I'll call him Billy. "Billy, I got the plane ticket in my drawer. Don't make me give it to you. Come on. I got to see it. Come on. I got the damn plane ticket in the drawer." And I just go, wow, that was really, that was rough.
Yeah.
And he would give the guy 2 or 3 days, and almost always one morning we show, "Where's so-and-so?" Oh, they let him go. But he would warn them, if you don't pick it up. Oh, no, he never bluffed.
Wow.
But I heard him do that quite a few times.
Yeah.
But he was warning the guy, that if you don't practice better, then it's just not going to work here.
The plane ticket in the drawer.
Yeah, I can see it like a...
My ex-girlfriend did the same thing to me.
Did
Brutal.
she?
No. But, it's on the phone now, so it's,
It's different.
She booked the flight.
Yeah, we taught Phil today at Inside the NFL thirst trapping and DMing.
Really?
Yeah. So we're getting his terminology.
Well, I knew DM, direct messaging. What is thirst trapping? Come on, what the hell is that?
It's for thirsty people that try to trap people.
It's like you put a sexy photo up there hoping it'll get attention.
Oh, is that what? Okay, now that makes better sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
People get trapped with that. I still don't quite get it.
So much trapping going on right now.
Is there? All right.
There is.
And then there's the horny comment people who are a little too engaging, where they'll write comments like looking great.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's...
What's the other thing y'all were doing today? You look what? What is it?
Oh, drip check.
Yeah, drip.
And we gave him drip check.
Yeah. People say, you got to start learning. I don't need to learn crap. I don't want to be hip. It's over. I want to act my age. I'm going to act my age. I'm not trying to be cool. I don't want to be hip and whatever.
You know what the crazy thing about that is? That's hip.
That's hip.
Not carrying his hip.
The fact that you don't want to be hip is hip.
As I say, there's nothing worse than looking at an old guy trying to act young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I want to say to him, it ain't working.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Is this about my sneakers?
Well, you're not old.
No, I know.
Sneakers, those are Knicks. You got the Knick colors?
I'm wearing the season's starting. I got to get the good vibe.
Yeah, okay, that'll really help.
What the hell? You're a New York legend. You got to be behind us.
Hey, I like all the New York teams. I root for them. Man, when we were playing during the height of our giant thing, the Knicks were, hell, we could have taken 4 of those guys and started them on our football
Oh, man.
team.
Anthony Mason, he could have played alongside LT.
All of them.
Oakley.
All of them. Oakley, John Starks. I mean, come on. They wanted to fight. They didn't want to play hoops.
I loved it.
But it was great. I even made a comment once. Somebody said something. I said, man, if we ever get as tough as the Knicks, nobody will beat us.
Yeah.
And Pat Riley at the time, I think, was coaching.
Legend.
Oh, my God. Should I tell you a Pat Riley story?
Please.
So my first year in TV, NBC wants me to be a sideline reporter in basketball, just to do something. And then I was like, oh my God. So I'm doing it. And I got a Knick game first. So I'm like, Hannah Storm is showing me how it works. I said, okay, I think I got it. I got to do a couple of reports and all that stuff. And Pat Riley goes, hey, Moorhead boy, hey, Kentucky, because he played at Kentucky. And he goes, okay, everything good? I said, yeah. He goes, listen, this and that. He goes, I just want to tell you one thing. Don't you think about sticking your head in my huddle. And I mean, he said it with vinegar.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just went, don't worry, I won't. I mean,
damn.
Yeah, he goes, don't you? Because, that's Pat Riley. He's talking in a private group. He didn't want anybody talking about what he says or hearing it. And he's a big dude, too. You ever met him?
I never met him.
Oh, Pat Riley's.
Well, he played. He was.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5". I mean, big old guy. Holy Christ. He's
Slicked hair.
Oh, yeah. He had the look.
Armani suits.
Armani.
Looking.
He scared me. I didn't get close to their huddle. I stayed as far away from them as, NBA games. Oh, Jill, it's just nothing. I'd be on the court before the game shooting threes with Charles Barkley.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine
Throwing
somebody coming out in the field before the game? No.
No, it doesn't happen.
It was incredible. And then I would do reports. They'd put me on the foul line during the timeout. The timeout's over. All the players are standing around me like this, looking at me. And I'm going, should I get off the court? He goes, no, just do your report. And then they didn't care. We'll just hold the game until you're done, and then we'll start the game again.
Basketball's a different breed.
Well, they play 82 of those games. I don't think they get too serious about it a lot of times. But
Yeah.
the fact that I was shooting on the court before the game, nobody said a word to me with Charles Barkley. I ain't going to tell you what we were gambling with, but it wasn't, we weren't playing for pennies, let's put it that way.
What about, so this game, the turning point of this game, there's a goal line stop.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah.
3 straight stops. I think Banks made the last tackle. LT made the first.
Right.
It was a huge stop. You guys get the ball back, as LT always said, I'll get you the ball back.
Yeah.
And that's when you started just whipping it.
5 straight consecutive touchdown drives. What were you, 23 for I think you had 3 incompletions.
22 of 25.
That's insane.
But
For a Super Bowl.
well, I get, listen, when you're playing, I don't know.
Were you in the zone?
I didn't think about anything, just thinking of the play. And I always go, many times, if you can do that, you're generally going to not be unhappy with yourself when it's over. But I didn't do that near enough. It was just always, I threw an interception. Now I got to be careful. And then the days I played well, I throw an interception, if it happened. And everybody, don't worry about it. I said, I'm not worried about it. Hey, get ready to tackle. I'm going to throw it. We might throw 6 today. And when I had that attitude, I played really, really well. But, that's circumstances. I didn't always have that attitude. But in that Super Bowl in the second half, I think John Elway went 3 and out 3 or 4 straight times. So the time we scored, I'd go sit on the sideline, we had the ball back.
Was it crazy to see a guy that talented who could scramble, could throw the ball, just kind of getting dominated in that second half?
Yeah, I guess, when you're a player, you never look at the other guy and say he's great.
But you knew he was great.
I don't know. Somebody said to me, Edwin Pope of the Miami Herald, I actually just sat down and a reporter sat around me. Can you imagine that in the Super Bowl now? And Evan Pope goes, what would you have done if John Elway had come to Morehead State? And I was much older than John. I said, well, he'd have sat behind me until I graduated. And I thought,
hell yeah.
That would be headlines in papers. And it was just another line in an article he wrote later. So I was feeling good. But then I not retired, whatever. My career was over. I was doing a game in Denver early, the first year I did broadcasting, and I was standing behind their huddle watching the practice. I go, this freaking Elway's pretty good. I was like, holy Christ. But it was cool. John was a great dude. And we, of course, knew each other really well as the years went through and everything. But it was good.
Competitive. Nah, fuck that. He ain't better than me.
Well, come on. You know how it is.
I know exactly how it is.
I mean, me and Joe Montana, literally, I don't want to dramatize it or whatever, but we didn't like each other.
No.
And it was my fault because I'm a jerk. I can, of course, on the field, I could really be a jerk. And I said some things, but it got to this is crazy. Like we'd score. I'd look at him and go, what do you think of that? I'd make gestures. And then he got into it. He'd throw something and score against us. And he'd be looking at me. And I'd just go, I deserve it. And then one day, I don't know how it happened or what. I can't remember if it was in the tunnel at Giant Stadium or maybe it was after a game in San Francisco. And his wife, I saw Jennifer,
yeah.
And I said something. She goes, oh, let me go get Joe. And I was like, oh, good. Maybe we can get over this now, whatever.
It just hit me in my head. You know how I always tell you my dogs were Dwight and Montana?
Yeah.
If Walsh would have got you, my dogs could have been Dwight and Sims.
Well,
Mr. Sims.
Yeah. Well, that could have been true, but it also mean that it could have been that nobody had known Bill Walsh and I, but when it was over. So I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty. Listen, are
you in Montana good though now?
No.
Oh yeah, we're great. I mean, I've done appearances with him, and I kind of do the talking and ask him questions. And Joe tells, of course, he's got unbelievable stories and all that. But yeah, we're really. I'll say this: he has a son, Nick. Nick came up in the summers one year to throw with me. Now, how's that?
That's pretty cool.
No, but I'm just saying, his father was Joe Montana.
Yeah.
And he was coming up to throw with me. So, and Chris Collinsworth goes, no, wait, hold on. This is strange. You're going to throw, because Joe was on a show on Inside the NFL with us. And he was talking about his son. And I said, what do you want me to do? Why haven't you sent him to me yet? Because he went with all these quarterback gurus because Joe didn't want to do it. And Joe goes, okay, I'm going to send him up. I think he stayed in my house too.
Yeah. Now, how was Joe on Inside the NFL?
He was just a guest.
Okay.
But he was always good. He'd tell great stories. I'd ask him, I heard this. Is that true? And he would, yes, that's true. Some of what were the questions we asked him? Steve Young, Joe Montana, the Bill Walsh stuff. He would tell me something else. Go, wow, those are rough situations.
He didn't like him?
No, he didn't. I can't really remember what he said. But, when they won the Super Bowl, the 88 season, they were shuffling, going back and forth, and he finally made a decision, right?
Yeah.
And stayed with Joe, and he was on fire. He threw the ball awesome at the end of that year. Yeah. Was that the year? Was he in Chicago in 88?
Yeah.
They played the Bears in Chicago?
Yeah.
It was the best game I ever saw him throw the football. And that's saying a lot. Yeah. But the weather, cold, it was really windy, and he was throwing, and I said, wow, Joe, he was on fire. Of course, then I think that was the year he went down to New Orleans and played Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and just
smoked him.
That would have been 89 probably. I can't remember what
89, because then in 90 he got hurt. Where you guys?
Well, he won in 88 and 89.
And then 90 you guys hurt him.
When did you go to Kansas City? What year?
93 or
90, I'll tell you.
2.
93. 93, I'm positive. Because he was there and I was with Dan Reeves that year. And my career ended after that year. And Joe played another year in Kansas City. But, so I'm right. I remember that part about it. He played great in Kansas City, too.
Yeah. You guys got hit so damn hard, you guys couldn't last.
Well, that was I was hurt in the game he got hit in 90. So I was in the locker room kind of watching it on TV and going on the sidelines because I was on crutches. And Pat Summerall, when Joe got hit as he rolled to the right and looking, Leonard Marshall had a 15-yard running start at him. And the next series started, and Pat Summerall goes, the injury report from the bench is Joe Montana has overall ache. That was it.
He just hurt.
Overall ache. Oh, God, it was maybe the worst hit I ever saw a quarterback take. I mean, you remember it, right?
I remember. It looked like he broke him.
Yeah, it looked like he broke his back.
Yeah.
He hit him so hard.
He did. He broke his back.
He did?
That's what it was. He broke his back.
Wow. Oh, well.
Back to Super Bowl 21. This was a game for so many firsts. You were the first to say, I'm going to Disneyland. And then what's up with
the
the
Disney World too? You covered your base.
They did both. Yeah, they made me do both. Yeah.
Disneyland, Disney World. And then it was the first Gatorade shower. But I read that you guys were doing this.
We did it all year, or not all year. I don't know really how it started. I need to ask the culprits. But I think they did it over Parcells. It wasn't because we're celebrating, because he was in one of those moods that week. Like really bad.
Yeah.
And it was intolerable. And so one of the players, he
was on fire. You got to cool him off.
And they just basically said, that's for what I don't want to overdo it. But that's because you were a jerk all week. And I'm cleaning it all up.
I bet.
But see, how about that? You could say that to him and allow it to happen, and Bill just shrug it off, and and then it became part of every game we won. It became, when's Bill going to get doused with Gatorade?
And wasn't Bon Jovi on the sideline a bunch?
He was at practices a lot. Yeah,
I heard he was like the good luck charm.
Is that what they said? Yeah, it could be. Of course, I would be practicing and see, there's John Bon Jovi over there. And he was friends with Belichick. Yeah. But they would always let him out. He watched a lot of practices. I'm sure you saw him probably more than I did.
We saw him a lot too in New England.
Yeah. I remember James Taylor singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl, coming off the field. And, he's a big Giant fan. And he sees Bill. And he hits my Parcells. Yeah, get away from me.
Wow.
No, he didn't say it. It's like, okay, that's no. I
didn't like people touching me. I didn't like talking to celebrity. I talked to one celebrity before a game, John McEnroe.
Right.
It was before the Tennessee Titans game, Tom's last game. We lost it. I'll never talk to another one. Like, I hated talk. I wanted to be, like you said, in the zone. You got to be focused on what you have to focus on.
Yeah.
I did a benefit for McEnroe once, and in the front row, it's like this awful crowd. They're just talking my entire set. Every comic's bombing. And I just see this one lady. I'm like, lady, shut up. And McEnroe was like, yes. McEnroe was applauding me, just pushing people.
It's funny. Yeah. My agent was good friends with Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner. And of course, they lived in LA. Well, not of course, but they did. And he says, do you want to have dinner with him on Friday night? I said, Friday night, I would, because I like Friday night, it's over. And it'll be a good time to relax a little. I'd love to do it. Well, we go to dinner. McConkey, me, Rob Reiner didn't make it. Billy Crystal's there, so we have a great dinner. And it's nice. We're laughing about a lot of stuff. And finally, Billy Crystal, who's a great New York sports fan, he turns to me, real serious. So what do you think? And I go, well, what do you mean what I think? Well, I think we're going to win, whatever. He goes, well, and I said, well, let me tell you what we're going to do. I said, on the first play, we're going to run a play action. I'm going to throw it to Lionel Manuel over the middle. The second play, we're doing this. The third play, we're doing that. And we get near the goal line, here's what we're doing. He's going, really? I said, this is all true. Because what are you going to do? You can't. And I'm not worried about what he's going to tell anybody. So he's in the stands. We get the ball. And he goes, he's going to throw a play action pass to Lionel Manuel. Oh, shut up, Billy. You don't know nothing. And it happens. They go, what's he doing next? And he told a story, I think, on Johnny Carson, that everybody kept going, what do you think, Billy? The whole game. He's, But I told him as much as I could, and just that he could retain. But I told him that first series, and those plays really came off 1, 2, all the way, just like we hoped they would.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. He was great.
New York sports fan, but he's a Clippers fan.
Is he a Clippers fan?
I think he's Yankees, Giants, but he's a Clippers fan.
Yeah, I know. He's a huge Yankee fan. He was a really good baseball player.
Was he?
Yes, really good shortstop. I think he went to West Virginia and played baseball, and then he decided maybe acting might be or being a comic.
He did 61. I mean, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
About Marison Mantle.
Yeah.
Well, the best Broadway play I ever saw was his. 700 Sundays, is that what it was?
I don't know.
Does anybody know? Whatever the name was, it was just him reliving his life with his father, growing up, the music world and all this. Oh my gosh.
I got to check it out.
It was so
Still
funny.
going?
No, this has been years ago, but he did it in LA. He did it on TV.
Yeah.
I think he's doing another one now, something different. But I laughed so much. There was 4 of us. I had a family friend, my youngest son, and another guy. One of my nephews was there. We laughed so hard that a couple of times. Here's the stage. He's talking. I had to turn around. I said, I can't listen. I'm exhausted from laughing. It was truly that funny. It was awesome.
Jeez.
So, Super Bowl MVP. Did you get some sort of car?
I got a Subaru.
Yeah.
You got a Subaru?
A Subaru, yes.
They had Subarus in 87?
Yeah, I guess so, because they gave me one.
Is it good? You still got it?
I do.
What do? You use it?
It's just sitting down in Kentucky. But I go to New York to get the car. The city, they have that, a luncheon. And they go, okay, here it is. Get in it for us. I'm like, oh, kidding. It's small. It was really, okay, here I am. How do I look? No, but it was great. Who cares what the car was? It's what it stood for.
Exactly.
We never got a car. I just got a trophy.
You didn't get a car back?
No car.
Super Bowl MVP. They
Yeah.
give you a car.
No, they stopped it.
Wow, they were giving away
Escalades, Cadillacs, GM products. Didn't get anything.
Bowl, they give it. Were you a Pro Bowl MVP too?
No.
I think they give away cars
Pro
there,
Bowls.
don't they?
Yeah, they used. I don't know. I
don't
didn't
either.
go. Didn't know. I don't know.
Well, the one I played in, I was fortunately the MVP, and John Robinson was the coach. And after they named me the MVP, he goes, "Do you get a car?" I said, "I don't know. Do I? That'll be awesome." I got a trophy about this big.
I got a cool trophy. They give a cool.
gave you
They give you like the whatever the silver football.
The silver, yeah.
It's beautiful, actually.
Was it?
Tiffany's.
Yeah.
It's at my mom's house.
Oh, it is, yeah. I was disappointed in the trophy, too. No car, no trophy. Holy Christ. Just lucky to get out of the game. No one, And I remember when it was over, I said, I'm never coming back. I said, I'm not doing this again. This was torture.
Is there anything we missed about this game?
About the game? No, I don't know what to say about it. It was, when I've watched the game probably 2 or 3 times, and I just couldn't get over how fast it went by. In other words, it seems long or whatever. I don't know what I was thinking. Then I watched the game and I go, wow, that game went quick. And wow, we could have lost it like 7 different times.
Yeah.
That's what really kind of gets me when you look back. Oh my God, we stopped Elway. Oh, he missed a field goal. You just start thinking of all the breaks that kind of go your way or you create. And I think that was the biggest thing when I see it. Oh my God, who was Ricky Hundley, their middle linebacker? I watched the game once and I just went, oh my God, he was a superstar. He made every tackle. I mean, he was pissed off too. The whole game. Get up, he kicked people, oh, sorry.
You're good.
But I mean, he was unbelievable but I would have never known that unless I sat down and watched the game again. Some of the guys that played so great. Carl Banks was
That whole postseason he was killing.
oh my God, he was the MVP really of the whole postseason. In fact, John Madden even said, everybody talks about Lawrence Taylor right now, the best linebacker in the NFL is Carl Banks.
Wow.
He said it on the air, which is a big thing and John Madden loved Lawrence. So for him to say that tells you how great Carl Banks was during that postseason. So,
Well, Mr. Sims, Phil,
nice. I do like your shirt.
Yeah, I wore this to make you comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I'm sweating like
It's hot in here.
it is hot good.
Hot.
When you get older, you sweat a lot. Do you know that?
I don't. I'm still.
You'll see. It's things to look forward to.
It's heat.
Oh, you're always hot. Always tired because you can't sleep as well. I mean, everybody,
But you can't look forward to having a vodka cocktail with the wife and cooking. You can look
Yes.
forward to those things.
I do. It's a simple place.
It's a simple
and,
thing.
you know, we're empty nesters. You know, of course, my kids are all old. Or I got grandkids, and they go, "Oh, how's it as empty nest? You miss the kids?" No, it's awesome. We got the house to ourselves. I don't have to worry about it. We don't have to make dinner for these every night, and it's great. It's great.
From the man, the myth, the legend
I'll tell
of
you.
New York football giants.
The New York Football Giants, Phil Simms.
Yeah, no. Let me finish up with this. I got to say, nobody in history has sucked the life out of one game more than me and Joe Namath. I mean, come on. I'm here because of that game, not my career. I mean, everything I do, it's just because of that game. It really is.
Well, you showed up when it mattered most.
Well,
Big players make big plays in big games, Mr. Simms. And that's exactly what you did for a long time.
Well,
tough football player. We appreciate you coming on. I can't wait. You have a podcast? What do you have?
no, I just go on everybody's podcasts. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to do
You're
a
the podcast king.
If people call me, I said, yeah, can you wait till next week? I got 2 other ones this week. Yeah, I'll do them. You know, I know all the people, and it's fun.
You're good at it.
Well, I don't know if I'm good at it, but I don't want to do one.
All right.
You know, I'm looking, not that I'm scaling back, because I always say if I work till I'm 90, I'll break even.
Yeah.
So,
Why is that?
well, because I'm into the money shredder.
Yeah. You're what?
The money shredder, my wife. My wife goes shopping. I love it. I don't care. She says, she'll tell you the story. She'll go shopping. She shows, I said, I love them. Let me see the bill. I go, Diana, this dress, you know what costs so-and-so? And you know what her answer is? You know, that's ridiculous. I mean, this has been going on. I made the mistake in 1983. No, wait, my daughter was born in 84. So maybe it was 87 or whatever. My daughter's young. I said, you know, Diana, I don't care what you and Deirdre, you can buy all the clothes you want. It doesn't mean anything because clothes were cheap then.
Yeah.
Well, now here we are, 30 some years later, and it's still going on. And those clothes are not cheap anymore. So, oh well.
Well, from the man who's married to the
money shredder.
money shredder.
She's proud of it.
Women shopping, man.
Oh, shoot.
It's true.
Well, look, thanks for having me on. It was a
Get
lot of
out of
fun.
here.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
guys.
having
This
us.
is awesome.
Thanks
All
for
right,
coming
my
on, spending the
pleasure.
time.
Anytime.
Unbelievable stories. You ever need anything?
All right.
Games with names got you.
All right, man. You're the best.
You're the best.
Good stuff.
Thank you, man. He was great.
He was good.
Yeah.
Really good. I mean, he's a professional.
And he's your buddy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
cool. He's your coworker.
Yeah, he's
He's a New York legend. I told a good friend of mine who's also a native New Yorker, my friend Matt Salacuse, who directed one of my specials, and he goes, Phil Simms. I said, yeah. He goes, that's a fucking legend.
he is a tough competitor.
Yeah.
Great stories. He's just tough. You know, and the Giants defense, that's crazy that he has all those intel. I mean, it probably made him a better quarterback every day going against them. And just to hear that these teams went live on Super Bowl week with a scrimmage.
That's crazy.
I
Don't you think that is part of what made Tom so great? Is that some of those Patriots?
we didn't go live on a, you know.
I know, but you were going against. He went against the defense.
Definitely going against defense. But I'm just saying the brutality of what the game was when Mr. Simms was playing. Like, he doesn't even remember getting a personal foul on him, like a roughing the quarterback. I mean, we're seeing guys
They didn't protect him.
sneeze on quarterbacks, fart on quarterbacks, and they're getting 15-yarders and a fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. I mean, you watch some of these highlights. I think there's a highlight of him picking up his teeth because he was getting.
Are you serious?
There's these quarterbacks used.
By the way, farting on a quarterback would be the best celebration dance ever. After a sack, just like lifting up a leg. That's a badass celebration.
or just piss on him like a fire hydrant.
Yeah, just fake like a zipping down it. Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's settle the prop bet.
Did we do it?
Did we get it?
We must have done it.
I had 5.
Damn.
5.
We got to review the tape. I'm getting a lot of conflicting messages here, but I got 5.
Damn.
I'm sorry, guys. Under.
There's no reason to be sorry. But we'll take it, Jackie.
What's the legacy for this game? I think it's, Big Blue Wrecking Crew. This set up who the Giants franchise wanted to be until now, honestly. Whenever the Giants win, it's because of the defense. We've had killer quarterbacks who rise to the occasion, Sims, Eli, but let's be real. You make it this far in the playoffs with a great defense.
Complementary football teams.
Yeah.
Defense, got teams that know how to play with each other. Just with Parcells and how he was trying to push buttons to get the best out of his players. That'll always stick out from just hearing the stories from Sims. Mr. Sims' performance in the Super Bowl, 88% completion percentage, getting the Super Bowl MVP, 5 consecutive drives with touchdowns at the end of the game. That's a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were losing at halftime and blow them out. That's adjustment. That's players making big plays in big situations and great coaches giving great information. So, that was pretty cool. Also, Belichick's first taste of a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
As an assistant. Then he got carried off. We didn't ask him that.
So what's the lasting image for this?
I mean, it's pretty crazy that this was the first time they ever said we're going to Disneyland, because that's all you think about when you were a kid.
When you win.
Playing in the backyard with your boys, having an imaginary game or whatever. You always dreamed about saying, I'm going to Disney World, I'm going to Disneyland.
It was wholesome.
It
wasn't like I'm going to the titty bar. It's like I'm going to Disney. And the kids were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to Disneyland.
That and the Gatorade Splash.
The Gatorade Splash is on Parcells, who's this iconic coach.
And all because they were mad at him during the week. I remember he said they started it because he was an asshole all week.
You don't realize that's an aggressive move. You think that's we love you, coach, but that's fuck you. Here's your Gatorade.
It's so funny to see the reactions of these coaches when they get hit with the cold. It's so funny.
Because it's the greatest moment, but you're just sticky. Isn't that weird? You're just I'm just covered in, sugar.
Yeah, but in defense of what nutritionists could say, if they're thirsty with all the amount of energy output that even coaches do, just standing out there, maybe just give a little lick.
Get a lick.
Get a little sugar.
But also, dude, you're in Pasadena. He's getting eaten up by mosquitoes after that.
No, there's no mosquitoes in California. That's humidity.
That's humidity?
That's humidity.
Some flies are Nothing? I've been to California. There are flies out there.
It's debatable.
Jacket on that. We gotta.
I'm just saying, there's no humidity, there's no bugs.
How about I got another lasting image for you? Bavaro in the end zone, and the shot above him, 16-10 Giants, because that's the touchdown where they start to never look back.
Yeah,
that's pretty badass.
That was a physicality too. Lasting image. That's just a physical team. Physical on offense. You could just tell Mr. Sims, just a tough guy. Defense, we don't even have to talk about that.
We just know LT Banks, the badasses.
Yeah.
Jack, what did we forget?
We got a couple things here today. Phil mentioned Billy Crystal baseball talk. Billy Crystal actually went to Marshall on a baseball scholarship.
Wow.
But the program got suspended before he could play a game, transferred back to NYU. The rest is history. Rumor even has it he was classmates with Oliver Stone and Christopher Guest. So those are some good.
Well, yeah, you go to NYU, you're giving up on sports. Yeah. It's over. It ain't Marshall. You don't say we are NYU. It's done.
We are.
What? Anything
the Violets over there in NYU. We talked about Dan Marino setting the passing record or passing attempts record at 623 that season. It's been blown out of the water. Just to put it in context, Brady had 719 passing attempts last season.
I mean,
that's not even first. Matthew Stafford in 2012, 727.
Extra game.
Yeah.
Extra game.
And they just throw the ball
all day.
We also talked about the wind in the Wynn Bowl, and equated it to Bill taking the wind in a 2013 game against the Broncos. 24-0 comeback. Patriots end up winning in overtime. Bill takes the wind. Jules finished with 9 catches, 110 yards, 2 TDs.
Too tutty.
It's not a bad day.
Against the Wind, but great Bob Seger song.
Just be running
Against the wind. Love Bob Seger.
Seger rules.
Turn the page, buddy.
Oh, that's the road song.
Oh,
It's perfect.
All right, we got 2 more. Dr. Pepper. I know, we're getting a packed one today.
F today.
The prune juice rumor has nagged Dr. Pepper since the 1930s. It's a unique blend of natural and artificial flavors. No prune juice.
Yeah,
But it is a rumor.
It is a rumor. It is
How
persistent.
rumors get started.
That's like the Richard Gere gerbil in the ass. It's probably not true, but it must really hurt him. You know?
Does there's got to be some truth.
Who knows? I mean, it's got to come from somewhere.
I know.
But if that's not true, that's got to stink.
How many years ago was that?
I don't know.
Because the gerbil thing was like a hot topic for a second.
It had to be post Pretty Woman. He's not landing a romantic comedy lead as the gerbil guy.
I mean, with that, he's a silver fox. That's pretty handsome.
He is handsome.
He's a handsome guy.
Good looking guy.
Good looking guy.
That rumor's been around since 98. Wow.
The gerbil?
The gerbil, yeah. That's
No, but that's post Pretty Woman.
Oh, yeah, way post.
yeah.
Yeah. Primal Fear, solid Richard Gere movie. Young Ed Norton.
All right, one last one. Phil was a talker on this episode. Phil was a talker in the post-game interview of this. So CBS did not get to air One Shining Moment, which we now know is played after every NCAA tournament. It was supposed to be for the Super Bowl. The lyric was, "The ball is kicked," and we now know it has been changed to "The ball is tipped" for the NCAA tournament. They saved it, used it for the NCAA tournament. Now it's legendary.
What are we even talking about?
You know the song they play at the end of every NCAA tournament?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't.
The
We know
ball
Bob
is
Seger.
tipped.
Huh?
Well, you guys got to watch some college hoops.
I don't know it.
I mean, we watch it.
Oh, man.
I don't know
All
the
right.
song.
I'm usually knocked out of my bracket in like the first 3 days.
So I stink.
All right. Not a guy. No. We got to
I mean, I'm not doing as badly as Julian is in our fantasy football league, but
I won this last week.
did you? I
But I
actually
did
lost.
get murdered in my Pick'ems league with Inside the NFL. Literally, I think I need to just. I went 4 for 12. 4 for 12. I'm going to start making my picks and then turn in the opposite. That's what I have to. I mean, it's fucking disaster.
Yeah.
These fucking handicappers. Just name the game.
It's tough. I think it's got to be. I'm going to Disney World game. I don't think that's it. Although that's a good name, but that's after the game. You can't call the game something from the post game. The Gatorade Shower game. That's a great image, but I don't think that's it. I think it's got to be Mr. Sims Goes to Pasadena.
Mr. Sims Goes to Pasadena.
That's good.
It's very children book.
Or just call it the Giants' first Super Bowl. I mean, that's pretty. That works.
Gotta pick one.
Which way are you leaning?
Let's give Mr. Sims his roses.
Let's do it.
Give us a lot of time. Mr. Sims Goes to Pasadena. It's like Curious George goes to Pasadena. Mr. Sims Goes to Pasadena. That's good. I like.
Curious George fucking rules.
I used to love
Mr.
that.
Smith Goes to Washington. I
What?
think it's a riff on
Yeah.
the movie.
Oh, holy smokes!
Yeah. No, but Curious George was good.
I'm like
Didn't they
0 for
escape?
2.
I think they escaped the Nazis. Isn't that the story? With Curious George, they escaped the Nazis with only their books, and they like came and started up. I think that's the whole Curious George story.
Really?
Yeah.
Gotta look into that.
Look into that. It's a good. How do we score the game?
Stakes.
Stakes are high. It's the Super Bowl.
First Super Bowl for the New York Football Giants that pretty much starts their lineage.
It's interesting because like stakes now, you look at for the Broncos, they're high, but you know Elway won 2 at the end. It's not like he would be back.
He would.
So
be
you
back.
can't go as high for that. But for the Giants, the stakes are high, I think, because you have this amazing defense. If you don't deliver with this team, it's a letdown. They
blew the brakes off of the 49ers.
Yeah.
So the stake, like if this was their shot,
Yeah.
because the Niners were the team of the 80s.
Exactly. So I think the stakes are pretty high for the Giants.
Yeah. I would say 9 flat.
9.
Flat 9.
Yeah, 9-0. Yeah.
Star power. I mean, there's so many Hall
It's
of
huge.
Famers on.
It's a huge star power. Because you have to, not just the players, but the coaches.
Very true. I mean, this is
It's like a 9-3 maybe. Is that crazy? I mean, you got Elway, LT, Sims, Banks, Belichick, Parcells. Big name.
RC.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go
9-2. What do you
9-2. It's tough. That's 9-2. We gotta go 9-2. Gameplay. I mean, the goal line stand was good. It was a back and forth battle in the first half, but then it became
It wasn't It wasn't an amazing game.
no.
It's not like it came down to the wire or something.
No.
What do you think? Like 8-2, 7-8, 7-4, 6-8? Kyler's a hater, man.
7-2.
7-2.
It's a 7. It's a pass. It's really good.
The name is I can't go too high in the name
Mr. Sims goes to Pasadena.
because it's what, like a 7? You going lower? 5-6? All right.
5-6.
Are we disrespecting him?
Mr. Sims, we're going to hear from him. We said it. It's in. Let's see what the
Blame
grand total
Kyler,
is.
dude.
The Russian judge.
7.8.
That's pretty good.
The Iron Man match was a 9 or 8. What was it?
It was a 8-8. That's in
8-8.
third place right now.
Full point.
Yo, the Iron Man match was pretty hardcore.
It was pretty hardcore. I mean, it's New York Football Giants.
Look, I would love to go higher here.
All right, I'm just saying.
But we got to honor the score. The game.
We have to honor the score, but I just want people to know, like, I tried to give him more, and Sam just said, "Hey, nah, dude, it's right where it's at."
Remember, Games with Names on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're everywhere. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. Comment on a game. Rate and review us.
Swipe up,
Yeah.
rate, review, comment, like, and talk to us.
And Curious George, anything?
You were correct.
Boom. Suck it, Nazis. You couldn't stop Curious George.
Bear Jew.
Bear Jew for life.
And that was a fun episode, and
Classic.
that's all for this episode of Games with Names presented by WynnBET. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you to our sponsors and to our great guest, our Mr. Sims. I'm Julian Edelman.
I'm Sam Morril. We'll see you next game.